I'm going to go over some helpful tips and tricks and some items that you want to make sure that you have. Some of these pertain to having a drone as well. First off, do your research before you go on the trips, which ports you're coming to, what's the best beaches at these locations. This TripAdvisor usually has a lot of good information on which beaches people were going to and various things that were at those beaches, if the snorkeling was good or facilities were good. I also like to print off a map of where you're going and find the certain beach that you want to get to, and you can kind of see how far away from the cruise port to that beach it is. And also these maps usually have an airport on them, so if you're flying a drone you know how far away you are from the airport. I also print off the drone laws for each country. This one here is Martinique, and you can see all the various laws so that you can make sure that you're abiding by those laws in that country. And it also has the country contacts in case of an emergency. And in the end, when you get all done, I like to kind of print out a summary of where you're going, when you're arriving, when you're leaving, kind of various information of how much taxis are, what beach you're going to, what location you're going to. So you can kind of get an estimate of how much it's going to cost, and you have a summary of where you are going to be in that day. This is what I received from Royal Caribbean on some drone laws of the various ports down here in the Caribbean. I'll probably scan this and just attach it as a picture so you guys can see this. Martinique was not on here, so they had to call and get the information from them, which they came back and said that Martinique you are not allowed to fly in. Another thing that I would say is that if you do find that there is a country that they say that you can't fly in, and you find out later on that you can, you want to contact that country and get approval from a specific person that they can contact and clear you to be able to fly in that country. You also want to be sure to bring various mounts for filming. If you have a GoPro or an iPhone, you'll be filming time lapses, underwater diving, you need various mounts. You need to have plenty of SD cards, way more than you actually think you have. I think so far this trip I've filmed 16 hours of video, so quite a bit of space on SD cards. This is a power bank. You never know when you're going to need to charge something at the beach, so it's always helpful. This is only $30 and it'll charge a phone 6 or 7 times, and it could charge a remote for a drone. Anything that pretty much plugs into USB to charge, this will charge it. You need to have your various cables for these chargers as well. So for iPhone, have your iPhone cables. Don't forget your trap door on your GoPro if you plan on using the GoPro underwater. That's very easy to do with the camera grip having to take it off each time. You want to make sure that you have a photo ID when you leave the port, whether it be a license or a passport. And you also want to make sure to take your set sail pass cards. Also, you want to have chargers, plenty of cables. This can plug into that power bank and charge it as well. And over here I have the DJI Mavic charger. This has worked really well on this trip because I can plug it in here and I'm able to charge 4 different batteries for the Mavic, not simultaneously, but they will charge one after the other, starting with the one that is the most charged first. And this also has 2 USB ports in it. So this allows me to charge 2 USB ports, all the Mavic batteries, from this one outlet. Royal Caribbean confiscated my power outlet power that I was going to use to get some more outlets out of this plug, because in this one entire room they only give you 2 outlets, so you can only really charge 2 things unless you have something to break it out into more, like this DJI charger. And they allow this because you have to be able to charge your drone batteries while you're on the ship. This is more for the plane, but you want to make sure that you have insulated battery packs for the LiPo batteries when you're traveling on a plane. This seals them off from the other items that you're carrying in your luggage and makes them explosion proof, and so that if they do catch on fire, they are contained in this. But if you're interested in how to travel with a drone with these LiPo batteries, I'm going to make a separate video on how to kind of travel with it on a plane and getting it on and off the ship wasn't too bad. I'm going to also make a video for traveling with it on the Royal Caribbean ship. Usually it gets confiscated after the first port, which happened in my case. They don't take it right when you're coming on the gangway the first day, but they catch it the second time you're coming from the port. And also, if you plan on doing any snorkeling, scuba diving, make sure you have all your water stuff, so like goggles, snorkels, boots, and plenty of cases for storing your electronics, and also bring some life jackets. You're a lot more buoyant in salt water, so it's pretty easy to float, but still, if you're going out a distance, you still want to make sure that you have a life jacket. Another tip or trick that you can use on the cruise is if you have some clothes that are wrinkly from being stored in the suitcase, you can hang them right here on this rail and turn the shower all the way up, and it kind of forms some steam in the shower, and that will take most of your wrinkles out of your clothes without having to pay for someone to actually launder them on the cruise ship. Royal Caribbean changes the day of the week on each elevator as well, so you know which day of the week it is. Because I guess when you are on a cruise, you kind of lose track of what day it is. Another tip is to just carry on your luggage onto the ship and plane. If you don't check any luggage, you're able to get to your stateroom a lot quicker. And from the airports, you don't have to wait for your luggage to be unloaded off the airplane. So we typically just have our carry-on bag that goes at our feet, and the carry-on that gets stored overhead, and that usually you can store enough stuff to make it through a week. Plenty of clothes. I'm able to carry all my electronics as well, so that it should be plenty of room for anyone. That saves a lot of time. And also a tip on booking. Cruises tend to get cheaper if you wait last minute. So that's a tip. If you book last minute, you'll get a cheap cruise. But the airplane tickets usually tend to increase until the very last minute, and then they usually decrease. So you might be waiting and the cruise prices might be dropping, but in the end the flight prices might be going up steadily, and then they kind of just balance out to not one be more cheaper than the other. So if you have a cruise already planned in advance, you might want to book your aircraft ticket right at the beginning and wait out the cruise a little bit and see if it tends to get cheaper. A good way to do this is to use Google Flights. You can actually save some presets on there and have it track your flights, and you can see how the price is trending over time and see if it's the cheapest price at that time that you are going to purchase your ticket. Another tip to get around only having 2 plugs is to have a USB adapter like this that has 2 different charging ports in it. And also you could buy the European to US adapters here, and also in the bathroom there are some up here if you had to use some. So that's pretty much the only way that you'd be able to get around the plug situation and have more plugs to be able to charge stuff with. Thanks for watching, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Also make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next videos I will be posting, and leave your questions, comments, and suggestions below.